Meanwhile, as US-backed Iraqi forces claim to be closing in on the ISIL stronghold of Mosul, and a humanitarian crisis unfolding there too, many have been drawing comparisons between the campaigns in Aleppo and Mosul. Both are aimed at defeating terrorists who are using civilians as human shields. But the US State Department believes that such comparisons are inappropriate.
It's absolutely not the same. And to compare the two is frankly insulting. I mean, in Aleppo, you've got the regime laying siege to a city with the support of their biggest backer, Russia. In Mosul, you have an entire coalition of some 66 nations who have planned for months, so with the vast support and legitimacy of the international community, to retake a city from Daesh over a period of months in support of Iraqi security forces.
Right, let's unravel this for you now then with correspondent William Whiteman. Will, why else then, apart from the number of countries involved, is the US State Department differentiating between Mosul and Aleppo?
Well, I mean, I think that, first of all, we need to acknowledge the laughable nature of what Kirby just said there. Essentially, he's saying that, according to his logic, rather, 66 countries bombing a designated terrorist group within Mosul is somehow better or different than 2 countries bombing a designated terrorist group within Aleppo. Of course, we're talking about al-Nusra in Aleppo. During the same press conference, Kirby was adamant that al-Nusra makes up a small percentage of the rebel groups on the ground within Aleppo. However, this does counteract exactly what the UN has previously said on the issue. We can have a look at this now.
In Aleppo, you've got yes, the al-Nusra is in Aleppo, and al-Nusra has been resisting the regime. They are in relatively small numbers.
1,000 of you are deciding on the destiny of 275,000 civilians.
So there you have it from the UN, 1,000 al-Nusra fighters. This isn't a small number. I mean, if you look at it in context, there are 250,000, roughly 250,000 people in Aleppo, OK? In Mosul, it's the UN estimates that there are around 1.5 million, and they are essentially being held hostage, as it were, by roughly at least 7,000 ISIL fighters. Now, that ratio is pretty much exactly the same as what we're looking at within Aleppo. And according to Kirby as well, in this same press conference, these 1.5 million people aren't faced with a humanitarian disaster in the wake of this current assault which is going on in the city. We can have a look at this too.
In Mosul, actually, while civilians who believe they are in harm's way and are unsafe certainly will be, their departure will be facilitated as much as possible by the Iraqi security forces. There are camps that are being set up all around northern Iraq to receive them in the tens of thousands. And there's lots of effort by the international community and by the Iraqi government.
We are really concerned about the extremely big humanitarian catastrophe that is going to happen.
We escaped from Mosul with the help of a smuggler. We have 8 children with us. We're suffering from the cold, from hunger, from thirst, everything. My child is sick. We wanted to get treatment for him, but we couldn't.
200,000, we expect, could be displaced in initial weeks. Eventually, more than 1 million could be displaced.
I've been walking for 14 days. Where is the help we need? I can't walk any further.
What's concerning is people who are caught in the crossfire. Those innocent people of Mosul are the ones who require dire humanitarian assistance.
So, I mean, as you can see there, clearly it is far too early to be drawing any kind of assumptions as to how this conflict is going to play out.
OK, Will, thanks for piecing all that together for us. Correspondent William Whiteman there. We've been getting reaction throughout the afternoon. A former commander of Pakistan's Air Force told me an hour ago that in his experience, US claims of high-precision strikes are an exaggeration.
I served as the Naval and Air Attaché in Saudi Arabia during the Gulf War 1991. At that time, the US-led allies were claiming that they're using smart bombs which spare the children, which spare the innocent civilians, and they drop down chimneys. But at the end of the war, we discovered that only 5% of them were smart bombs. I see a heartlessness, a callousness that has been creeping in. In the United States, one child is, loses his or her life. There is an outcry. Here, there are hundreds and thousands of them being killed, and so mercilessly. And then to cover it up by lies, it is terrible.
Well, I recommend you get up to date on the situation in both Aleppo and Mosul. You can do that by heading to our website. It's rt.com.
The idea that we should delay this operation because of their concern about the humanitarian situation, that doesn't make sense.
This is a targeted strategy to terrorize civilians.
I think we recognize that citizens are going to be, and civilians are going to be displaced.
They shouldn't have to leave.
This displacement, that's somewhat inevitable. As with Aleppo, there's an urgency to liberate Mosul. You're talking about Mosul or you're talking about Aleppo?